All right, let's talk about this fucking, just this absolutely deplorable, rotten individual. And dare I even say, I'm going to say it. I don't know if leftists really like using these terms, but after what I show you, and if you know anything about this guy, it's a perfectly fitting description. This guy is subhuman. He is a fascist fucking pig by the literal definition. I, I can't believe this guy is an elected official. This is a congressperson for the United States. We're going to get into some of his most recent tweets and some of his other random tweets. And oh my God, Jesus Christ. And we're also going to get into what the Democratic response has been. And it shouldn't just be a Democratic or a Democrat response to this. It should be both Democrat and Republican. So visiting the Nova exhibition in DC, watching the videos of terrorists screaming Allahu Akbar to their God as they murdered, raped, and kidnapped hundreds of innocent people from around the world, I am reminded that demons exist and they live in Gaza. And you can and look at in here, I'm not going to show it, but be sure to watch the innocent Muslim civilian spit on her body. Demons. Insane. Absolutely insane rhetoric. And this is probably the most just normal thing you've said that we're going to read. He's definitely one of those folks that are like, yeah, there are no innocent civilians in Gaza. There's just none. They're all terrorists. Okay, moving on. This was in response. So this is, if you don't know, the New York City mayoral candidate for the Democratic side, Zohran Mamdani. Awesome dude, great policies, a progressive socialist Democrat. So he's instantly deemed a communist, and even from Democrats and Republicans alike, they have made some Islamophobic comments about him as well, and we're not going to get into that, but Jesus Christ. Anyway, so this is a picture of Zohran Mamdani and Rashida Tlaib, and they are together. They are both Muslim. And he responds, Muslim terrorists hang out together. And what the fuck is this? Sorry, I was just reading a comment down. We, the American people, stand by you, Randy. There's zero room for Muslims to serve in Congress. Ban Muslims from attending school in America and close down their mosque. Muhammad was a false prophet and Allah is Satan. Bro, Christians are fucking... There's something else. They are on one. All right. So we also have this. I'm sure it is difficult. So this is in response to Ilhan Omar. And okay. So this is her comments to Benjamin Netanyahu visiting DC. This is a man who has a warrant out for his arrest by the International Criminal Court. This guy is just undeniably committing a genocide in Gaza. Let's be clear. So Ilhan Omar says this is Benjamin Netanyahu's third visit to DC this year. War criminals should not be welcomed by any president or Congress. He should be held accountable for his crimes, not platformed. And then there's a little more. But anyways, our great Porky boy Randy Fine here says, I'm sure it is difficult to see us welcome the killer of so many of your fellow Muslim terrorists. The only shame is that you serve in Congress. What the fuck is going on here? Like, this is one congressperson to another. Insane. And absolutely insane. Like, what the fuck? Okay, next. The Hebrew hammer is coming at Rashida Tlaib in Ilhan. Might consider leaving before I get there. Hashtag bombs away. What the fuck does that mean? Is that a threat? Like, what the hell? And then this might be the worst. I'm not going to show the picture, but it's a dead baby. I'm pretty sure it's a dead fucking child. Okay. And someone said, supporting killing innocent people and babies and smearing voices that fight against genocide for some AIPAC money says a lot about your character. You should be ashamed of yourself. How do you sleep at night? Quite well, actually. Thanks for the pic. What the fuck? I shouldn't, like, this is a congressperson. I need you to get that in your head. This is a congressperson. Could you imagine if, let's say, let's say that Ilhan Omar said this same stuff about the Jews or even Israel, which she doesn't. They definitely think she does, but she doesn't. Could you imagine? She would be like impeached or kicked out of Congress in like 2 seconds. But this guy can say all this, and wait till we get what the Democratic response is. So here's the Democratic response from our fearless leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, God, save me. Statement by Leader Jeffries, Whip Clark, and Chair Aguilar on Rep. Ilhan Omar. The unhinged, racist, and Islamophobic comments made by Randy Fine about Representative Ilhan Omar are bigoted and disgusting. We are just weeks removed from heinous acts of political violence targeting elected officials in Minnesota for assassination. This is an incredibly difficult time for our nation, and members of Congress should be solving problems for the American people, not inciting violence. Randy Fine must apologize immediately. And he responds, the Hamas Caucus is upset. Boo-hoo. I guess they weren't listening when I said the Hebrew hammer was coming. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Anyways, terrible, terrible fucking response by Jeffries, as always. You should apologize. No, bitch, you should be bringing up a vote to censure this guy. You should be fucking bringing up a vote to fucking kick this guy out of Congress. What are we talking about? If this was 15 years ago, he would have been removed from office in like 10 minutes. But now this is just normal. This is just normal dialogue that an elected U.S. official at one of the like highest levels of government can just go out here and say about a fellow elected representative. Like, what? This is straight up racist and Islamophobic. Like, and we're just going to demand he apologize? He should be censured. He should be kicked out of Congress. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and just here's more. This is an older tweet, by the way. May the streets of Gaza overflow with the blood of these animals. These animals live in Florida, hopefully for not for long, excuse me. There is no suffering adequate for these animals. May the streets of Gaza overflow with their blood. That just was crazy. Crazy. Absolute insane talk. And then, of course, on deportation, you could, as you expected, he is a monster there. I am a hard no on any amnesty. Deport them all. So this guy's just scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. Absolute subhuman, deplorable piece of shit. Like, I don't know how this is allowed anymore and how this is going to go completely under the rug in a couple of months, or a couple of days, because what I just showed you was an older tweet. He's been saying shit like this, granted not, at least to my knowledge, directed at other elected officials, but he's been saying shit like this for years. And he's still in Congress. Like, what's going on here? Okay. So, and this article mentions here, Omar is one of only a handful of Muslim members of Congress. CNN has reached out to Omar for a comment in a joint statement. House Democratic leader. Okay, yeah, we already read that. So, in a statement sent to CNN from the congressman's office after publication of this story, Fine accused Democrats of ad hominem attacks and said Jeffries has no issue with Ilhan Omar calling Bibi Netanyahu a war criminal and does when I call her out for doing it. He is a war criminal. What are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about here? Benjamin Netanyahu is modern day Hitler. This just stems from this a root issue in our country where there's just a staunch part of the population that is incapable of understanding the Middle East and the history of the Middle East and just the absolute destruction that the United States and Israel has done since 1948. And even before that, they were victims to Western colonial imperialism. Like, People do not understand this, that the United States and Israel since 1948 are responsible for millions of death, millions of innocent civilian lives being lost, displaced in the Middle East. Millions. We are responsible for toppling several democratically elected governments. Look at Iran in the 1950s. They elected a mildly socialist government democratically, and then we overthrew them. And then we were like, why do they chant death to America? Oh my God. Like, and there are countries that you've probably never even heard of that we just casually drone strike on a weekly basis. Like, I don't think people understand that a lot of people in the Middle East have grown up and all they know is the death, destruction, and just absolute devastation that we've inflicted on them. A country that is thousands of miles away has inflicted on them. And, you know, anytime they rise up and try to fight us, they're instantly deemed terrorists. Like, people really need to understand that. Now, I'm not defending any actual, like, heinous actions, but you have to look that we are committing on scale even more heinous actions. And then we clutch our pearls and fucking scream at the top of our lungs when they do something mild in retaliation compared to what we have been doing for decades. Like, and we just can't figure out why do people hate us so much, man? Why do they chant death to America? What's going on? Like, I just don't get it, man. We're at a point where we've set up these fake humanitarian aid sites in Gaza where we just start, this is like U.S., American, and Israeli contractors. Where we're supposed to be providing them food and aid. And we just start we just start opening fire into these crowds, not only with small arms fire, but also fucking tank bombardments for people, starving people just trying to come and get some food because Israel's cut off all food, fuel, and water. Like, it's estimated now that it could be between 300 to 400 to even 500,000 Palestinians dead since October 7th, 2023. And we're funding that. We are funding that. And it's so annoying that the people who speak out against it are just like fucking, they're just deemed pro-terror, pro-Hamas. It's like, okay, like, you need to understand Hamas, for all their faults and as bad as they are one of the only groups fighting against genocide. Meanwhile, we're sitting here shitting on them for fighting against genocide while we give our tax dollars to fucking fund said genocide. Like, can no one realize that? Can no one just take a step back and be like, you know, maybe there's a reason that people hate us. Maybe we are actually the baddies, and these people are just fucking fighting for their fucking homeland. And could you imagine if the roles were reversed? Could you imagine? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.